Hi, it's Tony Marino, host of the super popular Newsmax Daily Podcast, a rundown of the day's top headlines and top highlights of Newsmax shows and interviews you may have missed, plus some sports, stock markets, and even some yucks, all packed into about 20 minutes. Search for the Newsmax Daily with me, Tony Marino, on your favorite podcast platform, and check out our entire lineup of great podcasts, including Greg Kelly, Rob Carson, and Jerry Callahan at newsmax.com/listen.
1, 2, 3, 1.
Hold it now.
You are about to hear the most interesting, informative, thought-provoking, and funny show in America. On air and on the World Wide Web. This is the Rob Carson Show.
This is the Rob Carson Show. Hey, kids, it's already Wednesday. It's hump day, and we got a lot of stuff to get on the show today. We will get to the important news of the day, which, of course, is Alec Baldwin crashing into a tree. I know everybody, hearts and thoughts and prayers for Alec Baldwin. Running into a tree. Fortunately, only the tree died this time. A lot of times when Alec Baldwin is involved in stuff, other things die. But anyway, welcome to the show. Please come inside. You'll notice I'm wearing a Don't Catch the Stupid t-shirt today. And unfortunately, the other day when I put a QR code up on the live feed, apparently people were flummoxed by it. What is this QR code? Oh, what the hell do you do with that? Are you one of them cellular telephonic devices? I don't know how to use that. Well, here it is. I just made it easy for you. On the bottom of the screen here, I just put the address so you can order the Don't Catch the Stupid shirt and other swag. I'll just mention that. I haven't made a damn dime off selling t-shirts. But I want to put it up there just for bleeps and giggles, and mostly because a lot of you have been saying, we'd kind of like to order one of those shirts. So I'm just going to leave that right up there on the bottom of the screen. Take a picture of it if you have to. Take a picture of it, for God's sake, and then hang on to it, and then order if you'd like to. You can do that. All right, so a lot of stuff happening. We had this, it was an amazing event yesterday at the White House. Charlie Kirk was honored posthumously, which is hard to say because he was murdered. He was martyred 4 weeks ago. And this really crystallized what I've been saying, of course, for the last couple of years, that we are in a spiritual battle. This wasn't about just an election. The November election was about the defeat of evil, and the evil is going down in a very ugly fashion. The left and Democrats are dying like movie vampires. That's what I've said, and it is very obvious now that what I've said has been true about this. And then also you got a lot of other things happening since Donald Trump survived everything the left threw at him. Now, of course, he's bringing peace to the Middle East and has Israeli hostages returned that Hamas was keeping held and torturing and all of that. And Joe Biden, of course, couldn't do anything because he spent 40% of his time on vacation for the entire 4 years until he was removed from office, or I should say from the race for the presidency, because he had advanced dementia, allegedly, and was replaced by an idiot who had no chance of winning. But anyway, so a lot of stuff happening here, and Donald Trump clearly, because they tried to put him in jail, spent 10 years trying to ruin him, 98% negative press coverage, 91 political indictments when he announced that he was going to be the president, riots using a virus, on and on and on and on and on, then ultimately trying to murder him a couple times. Clearly, there is a spiritual element to all of this. There is clearly a spiritual element to all of this. And, as I mentioned, that with Donald Trump's election, there would be a worldwide move toward patriotism, freedom, and God, and not the radical Islamic God. That God, honestly, that's just radical Islam's conception of God, and it's wrong. And it's absolutely wrong. It always has been wrong. And finally, after 24 years of this nonsense, after George Bush, after 9/11, said, we need to figure out why those radical Islamists hate us so much. No, we just need to kick their butts. That's what we need to do. And by the way, where is old Jorge? I don't hear Jorge talking about the big announcement, the big peace in the Middle East thing. Hey, have you heard anything from Jorge or Dick Cheney? Have you heard any of them? I posted a video last night on the social media. I was making this thought. I'm like, why hasn't old George Bush, why hasn't he said anything about this? I mean, he sent thousands of our troops into battle against radical Islam in Iraq and in Afghanistan and all of that. And a lot of them came back in body bags and flag draped caskets. And then, of course, a whole lot of them came back with injuries, both physical and mental. I've been working with those veterans for many years. Hell, I've even got a nephew who's got PTSD. Doesn't even talk to me anymore. Why didn't old Jorge, why didn't he say anything? Or did he just invite the injured veterans to come ride bikes at his ranch? I think that's what he does. I think we ought to ask these questions. But anyway, so yeah, worldwide movement toward good. I wanted to play this. I found this. And then I want to play a little audio from yesterday's Medal of Freedom ceremony at the White House because it was moving and it was spiritual and it was good. And the left is caterwauling and trying to drag us kicking and screaming into hell. And we're not going. And they're going to have an idiotic no brains protest this weekend. They're going to have a no kings protest this weekend. Completely meaningless AstroTurf nonsense. Because everything's going the right way in our country and around the world toward good. And again, they're trying to drag us down to hell with them as they're in a death spiral into hell themselves. And I thought about going to that stupid no-brains protest this weekend. And then I sent a little text to my friend Mike Carter. He's a young guy who works for Newsmax. He's now a Capitol correspondent and everything over there. And I said, hey, man, you going to go down to the No Brains protest this weekend? And he goes, oh, hell, Rob, I'm not going to go down to that. Those things are stupid. I'm not going to dare do that. How did he put it exactly? He said it pretty funny, actually. He said, oh, heavens no, been to enough of those things. So I was going to go down there with him, maybe wear a T-shirt that said, it's good to be the king with Donald Trump's face on it. But I thought, now let's just ignore him because they're a bunch of morons. They're just a bunch of morons that are losing. But here is Charlie Kirk before he was murdered by a Democrat leftist.
Spiritual battle is coming to the West. And the enemies are wokeism or Marxism combining with Islamism to go after what we call the American way of life. And the American way of life is very simple.
What is that?
I want to be able to get married, buy a home, have kids, allow them to ride their bike till the sun goes down. Send them to a good school, have a low-crime neighborhood, not to have my kid be taught the lesbian, gay, transgender garbage in their school.
Hey, that's LGBTQIA plus the B, the bow, the bow. What are you talking about? You forgot
While also not having them have to hear the Muslim call to prayer 5 times a day.
That is Islamophobic.
That's important. We want the American way of life, which is, by the way, Christendom. Christians, our sacrifice, our toil,
Judeo-Christian,
our vision, the outgrowth of the scriptures gave us Western civilization.
That's pretty true.
And this is where I think is a great rallying cry. Doesn't matter if you're Hispanic, doesn't matter if you're Asian, doesn't matter if you're black.
What about them gays?
Or white. Everybody. If you are Christian and Jesus Christ is your Lord and Savior, these two threats are combining forces to come after us. And it's time that the church stands and rises up against it.
And then, so what do they do? What do they do? Because he was making such an impact. Because they're demonic, they murdered him. They murdered him. They even put on the shell casing, the same words the Democrat Party's been using for years against us. Isn't that weird how that happens? It's like they almost had declared a civil war on us with plausible deniability. Oh, yeah, they did. Oh, yeah, they did. And now they're going to get a little what for. They're going to get it back. They're going to get it back. By the way, GOP lawmakers want the Treasury to investigate CARE for possible ties to Hamas. The Council on Islamic Relations, you've heard about that. Every time I've said anything about them on the air, I immediately get a text or a call from or an email from someone from CARE. You can't say that about us, even though it's very clear that the Council on Islamic Relations is not a terribly good organization. They lie a lot, you see, but it looks like they might have some possible links to Hamas and other terrorist groups. Imagine that. Imagine that. It's kind of crazy. It's almost like, yeah, duh. Yeah. Yeah. MSNBC received backlash for being the only major news network not to air Charlie Kirk Medal of Freedom ceremony. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on a second. There's a There's a little mistake in that. It says they're a major news network. You better X that out. They are certainly not that anymore. They're the only network, I guess, that has decided not to cover the Medal of Freedom ceremony for Charlie Kirk, was amazing, and started a nuclear explosion of faith and freedom around the world that is undeniable and will not be stopped. It will not be stopped. And look where it's already hit. It's the Middle East. Peace between Hamas and Israel, I should say. Hamas has laid down their arms for now, and they're looking for an excuse, I guess, for us to bomb the snot out of them. They're still doing stupid stuff like not returning the bodies of the remaining hostages over there, and of course they're publicly executing people who are friendly with Israel over there. So they're doing the same crap that Hamas has always done. And I said that all they need to do is FAFO. Just do it, and it looks like they're that arrogant and that fanatical that they're going to do it. So any excuse for Donald Trump to say, hey, IDF, go in and wipe them out, I'm down with it. I think that would be the best way to wrap things up. Here is the announcement yesterday of Charlie Kirk getting the highest civilian honor.
The Presidential Medal of Freedom is awarded to Charles James Kirk. Accepting on behalf of Charlie is his wife, Mrs. Erica Kirk. Charlie Kirk was one of the most influential American political figures of his generation. At just 18 years old, he founded Turning Point USA and grew it into the largest conservative youth organization in the nation. For over a decade, he tirelessly traveled the country leading a movement to restore respect for our founding principles, reawaken our national identity, and inspire a renewed spirit of religious devotion. He was one of the great debaters and communicators of his time. Despite receiving repeated threats, he remained undeterred and modeled courage, logic, humor, and grace to the next generation. On September 10th, 2025, at age 31, Charlie Kirk was assassinated while addressing a group of students. The United States honors him as a martyr for truth and freedom.
And the evil left, by the thousands, celebrated his murder. See, the left and Antifa and the Democrat Party as it is right now, they're all dead. They just don't know it yet. They are. They're dead. They just don't know it yet. They've been waging a civil war with plausible deniability against us, and there's no doubt there is a massive cost to the tune of billions. There are casualties by the thousands, deaths by the dozens, among other things. And the Democrat Party has been behind it, secretly cheering it, never saying anything about it, never saying anything about the summer of 2020, never saying anything about it, quietly cheering it on, quietly funding it. But the jig is up, kids. The jig is up. Oh, yeah. I've got much more coming up, some more audio from yesterday. It was absolutely beautiful. And then, an ancient Hopi prophecy that could portend what's happening and actually include Donald Trump. Yeah, the Hopi Indians in the United States of America for centuries have said this. I'm going to share the details. It's going to cause leftists' heads to blow completely off of their shoulders. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show.
Looks like Tish may go to jail. Will George Soros post her bail? Trish, you know your many crimes will catch up with you. Mortgage fraud, that's her crime. She could do substantial time. Trish is gonna pay for saying things untrue. Her indictment is a sign. Do the right thing and resign. Playing fast and loose for Trish is nothing new.
The Democrats shut down and them all leaving town will be a gift to me. I see it as a firing opportunity. Let the layoffs begin. America will win. Just you wait and see. The Democrats just gave me an opportunity. Now I have a chance, along with J.D. Vance, to make us more waste-free. A federal budget cutting opportunity. The budget I'll reduce when thousands are cut loose. Less bureaucracy. I will make this another opportunity. This is a big time opportunity. The Rob Carson Show podcast is everywhere. Go to Newsmax.com/listen for details.
But Charlie never missed an opportunity to remind us of the Judeo-Christian principles of our nation's founding or to share his deep Christian faith. In his final moments, Charlie testified to the greatness of America and to the glory of our Savior, with whom he now rests in heaven. And he is going to make heaven. I said, I'm not sure I can make it, but he's going to make it. He's there. He's looking down on us right now. It's so incredible. Look at this, how this turned out. This was supposed to be so dark and cloudy. Not dark and cloudy.
Man, he does not sound very Hitlerian, does he? That's kind of crazy. He doesn't even sound like Hitler.
Cloudy, is it? Look at that, how beautiful that is. There's no artist that can capture it as beautiful as it is today. Wow. It's amazing.
Wow.
As I said on the...
I didn't know that fascists talk that way. That is so weird to hear fascist Hitlers talk like that. That is just absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. I want to play something from Charlie's widow. Again, it's hard to say because it's only been 4 weeks since he was murdered by someone inspired by the language of the Democrat Party and the left, driven insane by the rhetoric of the Democrat Party and the left for the last decade, MAGA fascists, enemies of democracy, Hitler, white supremacists. Yeah, that's what you did. That's what you did. You reap what you sow. I hope you're happy with it. But here is Eric Kirk talking about, and I can't imagine this because when I was 31 years old, I was just got married and hadn't become a father. I didn't become a father until I was 34, and I can't even imagine missing the lives of my children because I loved every moment of it. Here's Erica Kirk.
Spent 7.5 years trying to find the perfect birthday gift for Charlie. And it's so difficult. And those of you that have spouses or loved ones, you know how difficult it is sometimes to buy a gift for someone that you love, because he wasn't a materialistic man, so that also did not help. But now I can say with confidence, Mr. President, that you have given him the best birthday gift he could ever have. She said,
Talking about her daughter, by the way.
Birthday, Daddy. I want to give you a stuffed animal. Oh, man. I want you to eat a cupcake with ice cream. And I want you to go have a birthday surprise.
I hope those of you who celebrated his death, man, if you're still down with it, you're going to have a come to Jesus moment in your life, because you have become something so beyond awful. My God in heaven, what is wrong with you? Here is Erica Kirk talking about her husband, praying for his enemies.
God, when it was costly, but that's what we're called to do. Surprisingly enough, he did pray for his enemies, which is very hard, but he did. He did. He did. No one else, I saw him do it. No, he never did it in front of anyone else, but I can attest to that. But he also loved people when it was inconvenient. And he ran his race with endurance, and he kept the faith. And now he wears the crown of a righteous martyr.
Yeah, he's a martyr. Literally, there's an actual martyr. The left and the Democrat Party now have an actual martyr. That's generally when things go to hell for your movement, is when you martyr someone who is righteous. That's when it all ends. I don't know if you knew this. This happened like 2,000 years ago with a guy who wore sandals and had a beard. And he hung him up on a cross. I don't even know that. Oh, you're comparing Charlie Kirk to Jesus. No, I'm just saying it's the same thing. It's the same karma involved here. It is. It's not going to end well for you. Go out and have your No Kings, No Brains protests this weekend. Good luck. Honestly, you really are just so insignificant. Ancient Hopi prophecy foretells a mysterious red cap leader who will change America forever. I'm not kidding. This is crazy. An ancient Hopi prophecy predicts the rise of the mysterious figure known as the true white brother, marked by a red cap, who would change the nation forever. Believed to be centuries old, the prophecy comes from the Hopi tribe of the southwestern U.S., whose wisdom has guided generations for thousands of years. 1992 spiritual elder Thomas Banasia brought the prophecy to the United States, warning that during a time of great turmoil and rapid technological change, an individual bearing a symbolic red hat would emerge, shaping the fate of the world. We were told that 3 helpers were commissioned by the Great Spirit to help Hopi bring about peaceful life on earth, would appear to help us, so we have been waiting all these years. There was this Sunday Cool podcast going on, and co-host Josh Hooper read the prophecy for listeners. It is known that our true white brother, when he comes, will be all-powerful and will wear a red cap or red cloak. He displayed an image of President Donald Trump wearing a MAGA cap. He will be large in population and belong to no religion but his own, explaining that he would be joined by 2 wise and powerful helpers who he speculated as possibly J.D. Vance and Elon Musk. I don't know, maybe. Hopi prophecies describe a cycle of 4 worlds, with humanity currently in the 4th and final one. These teachings foresee a period of upheaval and purification known as the Great Purification, or Third Shaking, brought by humanity's greed, corruption, and disregard for nature. I think I've been kind of saying that last year. I didn't even know about this thing. I didn't even know about this. I said this last year. Prophecies also mention specific technological signs, catastrophic events, and the eventual birth of a 5th world of peace and harmony, and if humanity chooses the right path. I got a little more on this coming up, and we got a special guest coming up next. I've been waiting to get this guy on for a long time. Senator Eric Schmidt. Senator Eric Schmidt from the great state of Missouri. He's a rock star. Going to be talking about the Congress collected 30 million lines of phone data in the January the 6th probe. That's the story breaking from John Solomon. We'll talk to him about this coming up next, and this is The Rob Carson Show. Hey guys, it's Carson. You know, when I was a kid, and I would ride in a car, I would get so car sick and so nauseous, my parents would have to carry me into the house. Recently, I went on a sailboat in Mexico, and I got so motion sick, I was sick all day. Then I found Relief Band. If you get nauseous, you absolutely must get Relief Band. Relief Band is the original anti-nausea wristband that quickly relieves and effectively prevents nausea and vomiting associated with motion sickness, anxiety, migraines, hangovers, morning sickness, chemotherapy, and much more. Relief Band is legitimately a band you wear on your wrist to give you relief from nausea, and you can change the intensity to make it stronger or weaker. It's 100% drug-free, non-drowsy, works quickly before or after symptoms start, and has 0 side effects. Relief Band has sold over 1 million devices and is backed by thousands of 4-star and above reviews, making it a trusted choice for fast-acting, natural nausea relief. Right now, we've got an exclusive offer just for Rob Carson Show listeners. If you go to reliefband.com, use promo code Carson, you'll receive 20% off plus free shipping. So head to reliefband.com, use promo code Carson for 20% off plus free shipping.
I love to end a war. How about you? I'm gonna end some more. You know it's true. India, Pakistan are at peace now. No war in Thailand, ceasefire in Iran. I'll take a bow. Rwanda and Congo ended their fight. And in Armenia, I made it right. Next up will be Ukraine, been a financial drain. Not anymore. Oh, how I love ending a war.
Arrests ICE has made so far. How many have a criminal record versus those who are just in the country illegally?
All of them, because they illegally broke our nation's laws and therefore they are criminals.
She's no KJP, more like Kaylee and Sarah. Her first press briefing was strong. She deals in facts, not liberal propaganda. We have been lied to for so long. Hand, raise your hand. Be polite, or she won't call on you. Meet Caroline, kicking butt and taking names. She's not inclined to let reporters play their games. Sweet Caroline.
Clinton, concerned about her email scandal, works with a Soros organization to cook up this Russiagate nonsense. They feed it to the intelligence agencies, and they spy under Barack Obama's presidency. They spy on the political opponent, the Republicans, running against.
I think we have a little audio issue there. Playing some audio from the great, now Senator Eric Schmidt from the state of Missouri. Used to be the AG in the great state of Missouri, where I called home for about a dozen years. I've been waiting for a very long time to talk to this gentleman, and he joins us on the Newsmax hotline. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm good. I understand you know my niece, Amy.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah. She's talked about you, and she's an amazing woman, and she's part of my biological family that I discovered about 7 years ago, Senator. She was, I didn't even know she was around, but anyway, welcome to the show. I appreciate you being on the show. I've been following you since you were the AG in the state of Missouri. I made Missouri my home, went to Northwest Missouri State, lived in Columbia, Springfield, Kansas City, and all of that, but I'm really honored to have you on the show today.
It's great. Yeah, I was actually in Kansas City yesterday and the day before, and then back to DC now. But yeah, I love sixth generation Missouri, and I love the state.
It's a fantastic state. Let's talk about what happened today. It looks like the CR has not been passed again. The Democrats are stubbornly fighting against this, attempting to extort another $1.5 trillion of nonsense out of us. Where's this going, Senator? And when do you suppose this will end?
You know, it's a great question that I don't know I have the answer to, because it's just not rational. I mean, yeah, our offer is basically, let's keep the government funded while we work on appropriations bills for 7 months, infinitely reasonable. Their counter, as you mentioned, $1.5 trillion in spending, health care for illegal immigrants, got the rural hospital fund, restore all the rescissions like Guatemalan sex change money, all that crazy stuff.
Yeah.
But I think, honestly, if you peel back the onion, what it's really about, the left has been radicalized. And these Democrats are afraid of people like AOC if they cooperate or seem to cooperate with Trump in any way. So it's this Trump derangement syndrome that's metastasized, and they're willing to hold the government hostage while they grandstand. And that's really what's going on. So I don't know. They've got this No Kings rally nonsense this weekend.
I know.
So maybe the fever breaks after that, and they come to their senses. But we'll see.
Well, the No Kings protest is about nothing. It's based on nothing. Donald Trump has done nothing to act like a king. He's brought $17 trillion in new investment into the country, including Stellantis. They're going to start building Jeeps again, among other things. You've got inflation flatlining. I lived in flyover country the last 10 years in Kansas City. I know what Joe Biden's disastrous presidency did for inflation, the increase in the cost of homes and groceries and all of that. And now suddenly they're very concerned about it. It is the Democrat Party is in a death spiral to hell. That's what I like to say, and I don't think it's going to end well for them, particularly on this shutdown, because nobody is blaming. It's not echoing like it has in the past for a number of reasons, including no more media dominance.
Right, and I think the other problem is that they just the left and the Democrats, they can't compromise with the electorate. Like, they can't actually still believe that Donald Trump was voted back in. I mean, they did everything in the world, literally, to try to put him in jail and bankrupt his family. He nearly lost his life. Yeah. They weaponized the Department of Justice to go after not only him, but his supporters and Catholics and moms who show up to school board meetings. I mean, everything was thrown at the American people, and they rejected it all and sent President Trump back and Republican majorities to do the things that they want to be done, close the border, be energy dominant, all the things President Trump, and I spent a lot of time with them on the campaign trail, talked about, and that's what they're having a real problem with. And that's why you see Barack Obama now popping his head up and spouting off about nonsense. It's like they can't believe that that's where the American people are at, and this is a temper tantrum. It's a bad look, but it also has real consequences for the American people.
Yeah, I know that the GOP is not going to fold on this. There's no way they can fold on this, and it's not going to end well for the Democrat Party, particularly after the historic accord that's happened in the Middle East. Donald Trump bringing 7 Arab nations together. Did you ever dream of living to see a day like happened earlier this week with the release of the hostages?
It's just, I think for President Trump, he has cemented his status as the peace president. The diplomacy's always been the North Star, and And what's fascinating about it, and why the Democrat lies are all catching up to them. Remember, this was the guy that was going to start World War III. He doesn't know what he's doing.
Yes.
Listen to the experts. And where Obama and Biden failed time and time again, President Trump has succeeded. And again, they can't even mention his name to give him credit for doing this. And so the release of the hostages, that's a big deal. And it's just, a long line of peace deals between India and Pakistan, Azerbaijan and Armenia. The list goes on and on.
Yeah.
He's dedicated himself to it, and he's been successful. And again, instead of being happy for the situation, they continue to seize Democrats.
Yeah, the Democrat Party is siding with evil. They are siding with the drug cartels who are offering bounties on ICE agents. They are Democrat governors and mayors are standing like George Wallace in the schoolhouse doors. Same modus operandi, just decades later. What do you think about this? For instance, J.B. Pritzker with Chicago and going after ICE agents and also keeping the National Guard out. Do you suppose that the Insurrection Act will be used? It looks like the left is trying to start something that they're not going to be able to finish. What do you think is going to happen here, sir?
Yeah, they're wrong about it. And again, they're sort of posturing to be the resistance. The president has all authority, his core Article 2 powers, constitutional powers, and Title 10, to have the National Guard there to protect federal property and law enforcement officers while they do their jobs. Right? That's what the National Guard does. It protects the facilities and the people so these ICE agents can actually move on with deportations. But I will tell you, and you mentioned my former job as Attorney General. That job prepared me in ways that I'm really grateful for the job that I have now, because I saw the whole landscape. And it's why I wrote the book, The Last Line of Defense, How to Beat the Left in Court, which has become a New York Times bestseller. You can get it on Amazon right now, your audience, or anywhere you get your books. And I think the reason why it's been successful is that it was what it was like. It's behind-the-scenes look at what it was like to take on this left-wing lawfare machine. So when I was AG, we sued on the vaccine mandate, took it to the Supreme Court, we won. We sued on the student loan debt forgiveness scam. We took that to the Supreme Court, we won. We filed the Missouri versus Biden case, which exposed the censorship enterprise. If you get the book, Last Line of Defense, you can see what it was like to take Fauci's deposition, Elvis Chan's deposition, the FBI agent who pre-bunked the Hunter Biden laptop story. We sued 50-plus school districts in Missouri for their mask mandates. So in that time, which, we're kind of on the fever dream, on the other side of the fever dream, the Democrats are fighting, but we're winning. We're winning these fights. But we were pretty close to losing it all. So what was it like to stand in that gap, to be the last line of defense, to fight back so President Trump and the reinforcements could come? So I think in many ways the book is a playbook for how we fight and win. So all these cases, Robert's mentioned, they might have a district court win here or there, but as they make their way to the Supreme Court and the courts of appeals, President Trump's being successful. His record at the Supreme Court is 25-2 right now.
Yes,
because they absolutely have the law on their side, and we know we have common sense on our side.
Well, Eric Schmidt, Senator Eric Schmidt, I remember following you through COVID and all of the disinformation, misinformation nonsense inspired by Joseph Stalin. And I was watching you because, I lived right there in Kansas City, and I was like, this man gets it. And I mean, I normally never follow, court battles, but you're a rock star, man. It's nice to know that you put it together in this book, Last Line of Defense, How to Beat the Left in Court. Can you hold on through the break? Because I'd like to talk on the other side about this new story John Solomon is breaking. Congress collected 30 million lines of phone data in the January the 6th probe. Can you hold on to talk about that after the break? Very good.
Sure.
Senator Eric Schmidt, he's got a new book, The Last Line of Defense, How to Beat the Left in Court. If you followed him like I did when he was winning the big battles against the tyranny of the Joe Biden administration during COVID and disinformation, it's nice to be able to actually look back on it, because sometimes there were so many great battles, it's hard to remember them. We're going to continue this conversation on the other side of the break. This is the Rob Carson Show.
CBM.
What's happening with the assault on ICE officers is truly shocking. Deportations are nothing new. Bill Clinton deported 12 million people. 12 million people. You didn't see this. The radicalization that's happened on the left that plays out with political violence is real. And by the way, let me also point out that if we had a scenario where John Thune was on the Supreme Court steps saying, "You've reaped a whirlwind, Supreme Court justices," and then a right-wing assassin tried to kill Ruth Bader Ginsburg, and then a Republican-appointed judge only gave that person 8 years, there would be riots on the streets.
There you go. That is Eric Schmidt, line of defense. How to beat the left in court. Senator, I've been saying that the left, the Democrat Party, has been fighting a civil war, engaged in a civil war. It's being funded by billionaires and even tax dollars, and they're doing it with plausible deniability. It has left billions of dollars in damage. It has left thousands of casualties with police officers and dozens of deaths. Would you agree with that synopsis?
Yeah, and I think you're also seeing the exposing of a lot of these NGOs that that are international in nature, that our tax dollars were funding through USAID, through innocuous institutions like the Peace Institute and things like that. Yeah. And what were they funneling? What were they using the money for? For mass migration here into the United States and censorship. So this globalist agenda is very much aligned with the American left. There's hell-bent on destroying the country. And the problem for the modern Democrat Party, there aren't any Harry Trumans in the modern Democrat Party. You've got people like Chuck Schumer even, who can't be radical enough for people like AOC. And I think that's why you're seeing things like shutdowns. It's why you're seeing why they were preventing all the nominations, why they're just obstructionists. They would much rather be viewed as the resistance to Trump. It's the only play they have. It's like, you know, you're a football team. It's the only play. It's just like you're just going to run it up the gut every single time. It's getting old. The American people are tired of it.
People are just, it's getting to be quite ridiculous, to be quite honest. Congress collected 30 million phone lines of data in the Jan 6 probe. Also, you know, Arctic Frost, weren't you swept up in that too? Most recently, weren't you a part of that too?
Yeah, there were 8 senators. I was actually chairman of the Republican Attorneys General Association at the time, and they were included in it. So, yeah, you had a situation that when Joe Biden came in, on day 3, they started their censorship operation. Yes. We talk about that in the book, The Last Line of Defense, how the people left the court. What was that about? But they also then, of course, were surveilling senators, Republican organizations. Charlie Kirk's organization, Turning Point, was part of that. I mean, it really was this just sort of a massive scale of weaponizing, and they used January 6th as an excuse to do things we would never tolerate in this country. So I think there's going to be more and more revelations. Arctic Frost is kind of the tip of the iceberg, to use a bad pun. I think there's a lot more. There's a lot more there, and if you really want to dig a little bit deeper, it all starts with Russiagate. It all starts in 2016, where they used that fake story to distract from Hillary Clinton's emails, and it's been a 10-year effort to get Trump and to sort of push MAGA out of the public eye, and in many ways criminalize political opinions and throw people in jail. It's nuts.
Yeah, well, they use the tenets of Mao and Stalin, disinformatia, even the Third Reich. I called the summer of 2020, and what's going on in America's campuses, Kristallnacht, to some degree. The Reichstag was January the 6th, for God's sake.
Well, and, with DEI and CRT, what really is that stuff? That is cultural Marxism.
I know.
So you teach teachers to divide every single room by race, who's the oppressor, who's the oppressed. You don't have to have a single class on critical race theory. It infects everything in that classroom. One of the things we talk about in the book, Last Line of Defense, people can get right now, is we got parents who are coming to us when we were going after the mask mandates. Were telling us, hey, here's some other things that are happening in our schools. Our kids are being forced to participate in privilege walks. Where you divide the room, like close your eyes, take a step forward if you're white, take a step forward if your parents are white, take a step forward if your dad has a job, and then now open your eyes. So dividing grade school classrooms by this nonsense is all part of this Marxist agenda. Yeah,
but you know what? There was a movement toward freedom and God around the world. We're seeing it. It's already in Poland and in Italy, and it's coming to England, and it's coming to Venezuela. They're going to fall soon. It's happening in the Middle East, and Charlie Kirk's martyrdom has put that on light speed, sir. I believe this 100%. I believe it 100%. Now, one more question before we go. Eric Schmidt, the book is The Last Line of Defense, How to Beat the Left in Court. No one's above the law. Can we maybe hope to see some people go to jail? Can we hope to maybe see Jim Comey and Brennan and Clapper and Ray and Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama? Can we see? I know with Barack Obama was the former president, but can we hope to see some people pay by losing their freedom? Do you suppose?
Ironically, Barack Obama is probably protected by the very state against President Trump, right, on presidential immunity. However, yes. Now, has the statute of limitations run on some of this stuff? Yes, but not on a conspiracy. And I actually think I've got an op-ed about this. I think that's where you're going to see indictments.
I hope so.
Is this conspiracy to begin with Russiagate and continued on until obviously almost right now, modern sort of within the lens of even this last election by peddling these lies. And one thing that's important for your audience to understand about a conspiracy is if you're part of the conspiracy, let's say on mile marker 1. Even if you take the exit ramp on mile marker 5, you're liable for that conspiracy at mile marker 10.
Yep.
And we're at mile marker 10. So
Good.
Comey, Clapper, Brennan, and a lot of other folks who knew this was a lie. They knew this Russiagate thing was a lie, but continued to sort of launder it through intelligence agencies, continued to use it to spy on people. The FBI pre-bunking of the Hunter Biden laptop story was a remnant of that. Elvis Chan said, look out for Russian disinformation. All this crazy stuff that was wrought from that. I do think you're going to see, I hope you see indictments from that.
I do too, brother. The book is called The Last Line of Defense, How to Beat the Left in Court. Senator Eric Schmidt, I'm getting the book, man. I want to be able to read about all the good things you did as AG, and now that you're a senator, I mean, you're one of my favorites. I hope that when we get the studio up and going over here, I live in Old Town Alexandria now. We have a studio right near the airport. Get you in for an extended podcast. I would be honored to do that. I look forward to meeting you, sir. Thanks.
That'd be great. Thanks for all you do.
All right, God bless you, brother. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show. I'm gonna get his book. And, because remember when he was one of the warriors against disinformation and the COVID bull crap, and all the CRT and DEI. He's a rock star. He's a freaking rock star. The state of Missouri has a habit of cranking out some of the best lawyers and AGs. Right now, Andrew Bailey is the AG. He's fantastic. My ex-father-in-law was a judge from Missouri. He helped to digitize the entire Missouri Law Library, like in the late 90s. Crazy smart guy. Who's watching here today? Well, we got Doug back on the YouTube. America Marcy. You're new. Hi, hello, welcome to the show. Please come inside. It's like nobody else is doing out there. We do comedy. We follow in Rush Limbaugh's footsteps. Mickey Hastings, good to see you. Tommy to you as well over on the Rumbly Roo. Ron DePony, AstroTurf, T. Willis. You guys, as usual, are always awesome. Monica VT, Vermont. Deborah, 1955. Hi there. Hello, stop it. Over on the Facebook, you got Carol Leftwich. She's not very left, though. She's not. Prana Uberchat, good to see you. as well as Robert Lawson. And Regina Adams Winters, I think you're new. Hi, Rob, I'm here. Well, I'm here too, by the way. Today, my divorce gets finalized. It's kind of weird. It's kind of surreal. It's like, it's like a finish line, kind of a sad finish line today. But what am I going to do? There's nothing I can do about it, is there? Nothing I can do about it. But you pick yourself up, you dust yourself off, you forgive. You can't forget, but you forgive. You forgive. That's the most important thing, right? You forgive, but you can't forget. But anyway, enough about me. Let's get back to the show. We got another break here. Diggy. It is the Rob Carson Show. Eric Schmidt was awesome. He's kind of a rock star for me. I just think he's amazing. Amazing dude. And I am going to read the book because you remember he was like in the battle, the battlefront for this COVID nonsense, this CRT nonsense, this disinformation, misinformation nonsense. When he was sometimes the only glimmer of hope that I was seeing. He's just brilliant guy, Eric Schmidt, the senator from the great state of Missouri. Gold breaks $4,100 to hit a record high. People are actually prospecting for gold. I was reading that earlier here. We got a guest on later in the show talking about $53 silver and the crack in the financial cosmos that is coming. And gold is going and going and going. And right now you can get some silver when you get your gold with Birch Gold. Buy now, get free silver for every $5,000 purchased from Birch Gold. And it's an investment, by the way. You're not buying something. It's, you're investing in something that's going to grow. So you get a bonus here, man. Look at this. This is one of these fantastic new silver proofs commemorating the Gadsden and American flags. Remember when the Democrat Party said the Gadsden flag was something terrible and all that? And really, it was about don't tread on me. Don't screw on me. I'll bite you in the butt. And the Democrat Party's been screwing with us. We're going to bite them in the butt big time, man. We're going to bite that butt right off, my Lord. With some Democrats, the butt's quite a bit larger. It could take some chewing, Letitia James. But anyway, gold is up over 40% since the beginning of the year. Birch Gold is going to help you by converting an existing IRA or 401k into a tax-sheltered IRA and physical gold. If you just got savings lying there, you might as well go put it in a box and bury it under a tree like in Shawshank Redemption. It's going to do nothing until you get out of jail. Andy Dufresne went and found that box with that money, and we went to San Martineo. That's my Morgan Freeman impersonation. Here's the coin, okay? Go ahead and text my name, Rob, to 989898, Rob to 989898. Get information from Birch Gold, and you can get this coin. And again, there is no end to the heights that gold is going right now. It's never been seen before. So I would take advantage of the situation. 989898 to Birch Gold. Oh, my goodness. We are just beginning. We have got new comedy from Jim Gossett. We have got more unbelievable news on the other side of the break. Hour number 2 is right ahead. I wouldn't go anywhere.
Hold it now.
You are about to hear the most interesting, informative, thought-provoking, and funny show in America. On air and on the World Wide Web. This is the Rob Carson Show.
This is the Rob Carson Show, hour number 2 on this Wednesday. I already had Senator Eric Schmidt from Missouri on the show. That was pretty cool last hour. Kind of my hero. I used to, he really buoyed me during the times of COVID, bullcrap, the shutdowns and all of that as my kids were having their lives ruined. And then, of course, the disinformation and misinformation. He was the guy who was out there winning the court battles against the absolute despotism of the Biden administration. So really enjoyed having him on today. And if you want to hear the podcast, I would recommend that you go to your usual podcast platforms, look up Rob Carson Show, and we put the shows up. Ken, my producer, also known as Redneck MacGyver, he puts them up right after the show. 3 hours of the show, sans commercials, and then you can download them and all that. Subscribe if you would. Like for instance on Spotify, there's a little bell. Go ding, and then it'll tell you when the podcast is up and everything. It'll be kind of cool. So a lot of things happening. We heard earlier that Congress collected 30 million lines of phone data in the January the 6th probe, raising civil liberty concerns. This was the story that John Solomon hinted at yesterday on the show. Congressional investigators collected a stunning 30 million lines of phone data mapping contacts between conservatives and the Trump White House in the name of investigating the January the 6th Capitol breach. That's you and me. That's all of us. These mother bleepers. I swear to God, a massive dragnet that raises civil liberty concerns about the lack of limits on the ability of lawmakers to snoop on America's private phone calls. You know who was involved? That little weasel piece of crap, Adam Kinzinger. He was involved in this. Yeah, Chris Wray, Adam Kinzinger. They were involved in this. Also, former Congressman Denver Riggleman worked with the select committee and was able to obtain toll information, including the White House route or switchboard numbers via congressional subpoena. They went Soviet Union on us. I hope that little jerk, Adam Kinzinger, he'll be real popular in prison. He'll sleep on the top bunk. Mike Davis, former top lawyer for the Senate Judiciary Committee and founder of the Article 3 projects, told Just the News revelations in the FBI memo could prompt legal challenges, may rein in congressional oversight powers, among other things. This is just filthy rotten, man. They took 4 telecom companies, and the telecom companies bent over and said, "Sir, yes, sir." Verizon, AT&T, T-Mobile, Lumen all provided the information that the government requested against, while we didn't know about it. So that's pretty amazing. That is sickening. It's a piece John Solomon just put up on Just the News. I can't read it all. It's pretty big. Congress collected 30 million lines in phone data in the J6 probe. Oh, I want these bleepers to go to jail. I want them to go to jail forever. I mentioned this earlier, that Hopi prophecy foretold of a mysterious red cap leader who will change America forever. And, what we're living through right now is serendipitous. What has brought us together in this time in history, I believe this, is serendipitous. For those of you who've been listening to this show, we came together in a time of enormous crisis, and the only way we could deal with it is with it together. Together we did it. While Donald Trump was being, persecuted, where they tried to murder him and everything, we had to stay together. And anyway, they're talking about this ancient Hopi prophecy predicts the rise of a mysterious figure known as the true white brother, marked by a red cap. Known for the true white brother, when he comes, he will be all-powerful, will wear a red cap or cloak. Kind of interesting. Prophecies also mention specific technological signs, catastrophic events, and the eventual birth of a fifth world of peace and harmony. Weird, isn't that? And didn't I kind of say that the reaction to the action of evil is happening? Didn't you remember me saying that? For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. I believe that science and God exist on the same spectrum, because science can't exist without God. That's it. I know. You atheists are going, oh, yeah, it can. Oh, really? Okay. Prove God exists. How about you prove me it doesn't exist? The only thing they have going for, they just say, he doesn't exist. I can't see him. Okay, all right, whatever. Can't see love either, right? You can't see math, really. I mean, math, you can put it on paper, but that's not the equation. The equation is just, that's just the language of it on a piece of paper. Math exists. Wow, am I waxing philosophical or what? You're probably going, God dang, he's a lot smarter than he sounds. The red cap figure is said to appear during his fourth world, serving as a guide to help humanity navigate the chaos. The red cap itself is a distinguishing symbol, similar to others in Hopi prophecy, marking the figure as significant for fulfilling that prophecy. The true white brother is sometimes described as a messenger whose presence may influence humanity's choices in the transition to the fifth world of balance and harmony. One will have the symbol or the moha or cross, suggested that the cross might actually be an X, aligning with Musk's social media platform X. That's weird. That's what? According to this, the text of this Hopi prophecy, if the three helpers fail in their mission, a figure from the west will arrive like a powerful storm, numerous and ruthless, sweeping across the land quickly like a swarm of red ants. Red ants. Red ants. Those who succeed in fulfilling the prophecy will establish a new way of life that brings lasting peace and abundance. I think we're on the cusp of that. I really do. I really do. I believe it. And you know why? This is why I'm ridiculously optimistic. I know. I'm ridiculously optimistic. I am. And everybody, I've told members of the Knesset at dinner, I said, it's happening. You have to have faith. I told Brigitte Gabriel, I said, you've got to hold tight. It's happening, it's happening, it's happening. And then they murdered Charlie Kirk, and then they really screwed themselves. The left, the Democrat Party, the forces of evil don't even know they're dead yet. They're dead. Here is Scott Bessent. Scott Bessent is the Treasury Secretary. You ever see that movie, what was it, The Untouchables? They couldn't figure out how to go after Al Capone, so they decided to go after the money. Well, this is how they're going to go after all these NGOs and all these evil SOBs like George Soros who've been funding all of the violence and the AstroTurf nonsense that's caused. Really, it's a civil war. It's a civil war. Antifa, they are the soldiers of fortune of the Democrat Party in the army of darkness. Yeah, I said it for real because I believe it. Scott Bessent said that Charlie Kirk's murder really screwed the pooch for the left.
Charlie's death is like a domestic 9/11. That we are going to find, it has alerted us to what Charlie knew, that these organizations are working within our borders. And look, we believe people have a right to free speech. They have a right to organize. They have a right to protest, but they have to do it peacefully. They cannot embrace violence, and we have seen it. We've seen it since the terrible day 2 years ago, the anti-Semitism and the bias that came out after October 7th, 2023. And many of these organizations have been financed by nonprofits.
You bet, and they're going to get it. Oh, they're going to get such a colonoscopy without anesthesia or lubrication. Woo! I love it. Here's Scott Bessent.
When you see these groups where all the signs match, they have hundreds of the same umbrellas that they're using. After they cause the mayhem, they have the same lasers that they're using to blind our police force.
Yeah, that's true.
How are they constructed? Because this takes a lot of money, it takes a lot of organization, and we are going to do that. We have started to compile lists, put together networks, and there's a long record here. And we don't know how much of the support's coming in from overseas. We don't know how much being supported by U.S. nonprofits, C3s that give money to C4s. But this is mission.
You should be real nervous. Because you're about to get a little what fur. You are going to get a little what fur. This is a guy named Jacob Savaroff. He's on MSNBC. He's a typical MSNBC opinion maker. He says the military is going to turn on Trump. He He says the military is going to turn on Trump. This soy boy, little meow meow, says that the military is going to turn on Trump. Listen to this. Even though Donald Trump has ushered in an untold number of people who are applying to be in the military, listen to how wrong this jerkweed gets it.
About how it's not just the pro-immigration folks that are in the streets now, it's the pro-democracy people. But I think the three of us have actually talked about this before, if I'm not mistaken. I think members of the military, if they haven't already, may very well soon start to turn on this administration because of the way that they're being deployed to the streets. It's not just...
No, the members of the military are glad to be deployed because they can do something about it. And the member of ICE are glad to finally be able to do something about it because people have been spitting in their faces and injuring them for years. So they're really excited about being able to kick some major Antifa butt.
The Barranco children of Narciso Barranco, the Marines whose father was beaten by ICE as he was cutting bushes at a IHOP in Santa Ana, California. Yeah. But it's the people from all of these communities from which, maybe even Texas, they are deployed and being asked to stand face to face with people.
Did he say even Texas?
Come from communities just like their own, asked to enforce the law in a way that they would overseas. Or
you are so, honestly, he is so out of his nut. He has no idea because he's a little soy boy meow meow who has no idea what the military wants, needs, or otherwise. Here's Jim Gossett as the Prezi. This is a classic.
How do you solve a problem like Antifa?
Sing it with me.
A terrorist group, that is what they are.
What they are.
I'm gonna solve this problem called Antifa.
Kick their butts.
They have gone too far. The Democrats, they support Antifa.
Yeah, they're their soldiers.
Their reign of terror they try to deny.
It's a civil war.
Claim that Soros doesn't fund Antifa. But that's a big fat lie. We are coming after you, Antifa. In towns like Portland where you terrorize,
gonna kick your butts.
National Guard will help to fight Antifa. They'll cut it down to size. How do you solve a problem like Antifa? They are a hate group in most people's eyes.
There you go. That is the brilliant Jim Gossett. You're only going to hear it. We're the only show. We're the only conservative talk show that offers leading edge opinion and entertainment like that. Nobody else does. Nobody else does it. Go ahead and listen to it. Listen to people pound desks and say the same stuff and talk about the same stuff. You're not going to get anything like that. Only here. Working with Jim Gossett. By the way, if you want to help him out, go to patreon.com. Jim Gossett Comedy. Let's take a break and come back. This is The Rob Carson Show.
Rent-free, in libs' heads I'm living. The fits I am giving to Whoopi, Sunny, and Joy. Rent-free, I'm occupying. Rosie is lying. She says I'm not in her head. Break free, they simply can't do it. When you get down to it, they have TDS real bad. Hatred, just watch it as it spreads, because inside their heads I live.
Donnie, a socialist. Mom Donnie, a communist. He's a fan of Hamas. His win will be New York's loss. He's an extremist, you bet, as New York's gonna get taxed like never before. When Mom Donnie is done, the city will run every grocery store. He'll defund the police and crime will increase as the murder rate begins to soar. Mom Donnie, anti-Jew, he despises Netanyahu. It is really a sin. New Yorkers voted him in. They'll regret that they helped him win.
Jay.
Donald Trump's election. It's the gift that keeps on giving. It's the Rob Carson Show.
We've known they would send $500 million to liberal news outlets by refunding the Corporation for Public Broadcasting. It would also restore up to $5 billion of American taxpayer funds for wasteful spending for international projects. Here's a couple of examples.
What's
this
that,
is
Mike?
in their legislation, their counterproposal on the CR to keep the lights open. This is what they want to do. They want to spend $24.6 million of your hard-earned dollars as a taxpayer for climate resilience in Honduras.
Yeah, screw that.
They want to spend $13.4 million for civic engagement in Zimbabwe.
Yeah, done.
They want to send $3.9 million for LGBTQI plus democracy grants in the Western.
How about sending some of that money to small-town Americans that are suffering? How about sending that to farmers who are suffering? Because right now you got a soybean war with China going on, and you know, our farmers make D-word for Richard on their crops, particularly their crops like soybean and corn. You make nothing on them. You use them for cattle feed and whatnot. And they're making nothing. They're suffering. How about some of that money instead of LGBTQIA++, NRA, WXYZ, whatever? How about some of that? How about sending money to small towns near where I grew up, like Persia, where no businesses are open anymore? How about paving some of the streets? My God, we're done with this nonsense. And the Democrat Party is trying to extort more money out of it. It's not working anymore. It's not working anymore because they don't have the monopoly on the media. Hell, this is Hakeem Jeffries with Dana Bash getting called out today.
Meetings, no discussions. Donald Trump has held them back from even having a meaningful engagement to try to find
You're
common
right down
ground.
the hall from Mike Johnson's office. I know exactly where you are. You could probably take a few steps and go knock on the door and talk to him. Have you tried that?
Speaker Johnson hasn't been given permission to have a conversation with me or Leader Schumer, and he said
by whom?
As much earlier today.
Okay.
So you don't think he would talk to you at all?
We can have a conversation, but the problem is
why don't you?
That until they get the green light to actually have a meaningful discussion to try to find common ground and a bipartisan path.
No. Here's the deal. You've got to pass the clean CR. And it's a clean CR, just a continuing resolution. The Republican Party isn't demanding a damn thing.
You mentioned that there is no negotiation to be had, but you also acknowledge that funding the government has to be bipartisan. So is the only way out of this for Democrats to completely drop their demands? Is there anything that Republicans are willing to give? And have there been any conversations? It doesn't even seem like a 2-second talk.
I'm so glad you asked the question. Why aren't you dropping all of your demands so that it makes it more palatable for Democrats to join you? I didn't put any on the CR. Leader Thune and I have tried to explain this a few times. There's nothing for us to negotiate. I cannot go to the CR and go, you know what, Democrats, you're right. Let me take out these 3 Republican priorities. I didn't add a single Republican policy or priority.
Yeah, you know what? Here's the deal. Give some more money to your dang NPR affiliate, because honestly, I'm not going to pay for you to listen to that pap anymore. I'm not going to pay so you can raise your pinky on your soy latte and listen to your morning edition or your All Things Considered. Screw that. You're done. You lost the money. Bye-bye. Go, just donate some money. You'll get a tote bag, for God's sake. It's fantastic. There you go. That's how it works. That's how it works. Here's the Prezi talking about the shutdown, and he says, and he's right, by the way, that the Republicans are just killing it.
Honestly, can I put it in plain words for you?
Go ahead.
And you're a smart guy, so you all understand, but a lot of people don't. Yeah. The Democrats are getting killed on the shutdown.
Totally.
Because we're closing up programs that are Democrat programs that we were opposed to. So we're being able, and they're never going to come back in many cases. So we're being able to do things that we were unable to do before. So we're closing up programs that are Democrat programs that we wanted to close up or that we never wanted to happen.
I know, it's awesome.
And now we're closing them up.
Yeah.
And we're not going to let them come back.
Nope.
The Democrats are getting killed. And we're going to have a list of them on Friday, closing up some of the most egregious, socialist, semi-communist, probably not full communist. We're saving that for New York.
Yeah, it's like a total Democrat self-immolation. It's fantastic, absolutely fantastic. By the way, you'll notice on the screen, I haven't pushed this before. I have a bunch of swag. I haven't made any money off of it, but a lot of people have been asking about my "Don't Catch the Stupid" stuff. I've also got a T-shirt, Trump 2028, and AOC in 2029. Make America Stupid Again. If you want to just go there, I got the QR codes up there, and then I got the website on the stream. Just take a picture of it, grab a screenshot of it, and all that. I won't leave it up there for long. I just wanted you to be able to see it because I know of you over looking. Here's something kind of interesting. Donald Trump says that he has billionaires offering to pay the troops. I think one of those billionaires' names sounds like Elon Tusk.
I actually have a man who is a very wealthy person.
Elon.
I know that when I tell you this. Who called a donor, a great gentleman, and he said, if there's any money necessary, shortfall, for the paying of the troops, then I will pay it, meaning he will pay it.
Yeah, see, because, we got friends in high places with the Republican Party, people who believe in the American dream and make a lot of money instead of just relying on the government.
How about that?
Yeah.
I said, look, we're not going to need it. We're going to take care of our troops. But this was a position that's being forced upon us by Democrats.
There you go. So the troops are going to get paid. There you go. And the Democrat Party, once again, loses another one of their little trump cards. Coming up, John Reid running for lieutenant governor of the state of Virginia. Things are happening in Virginia, moving away from Democrats as people recognize how bat-loon crazy the Democrat candidates are, including the Democrat candidate for AG, lieutenant governor, and Governor Abigail Spamberger. That's coming up on the other side of the break. Don't go anywhere.
Okay, we are running a car drive right now to help veterans all across America. So if you have an old car, truck, or van, even a motorcycle or an RV sitting around, you can right now give it away and help the vets. They really need your help. And your car will help support the vets and their families. And guess what? You even get a
Hey guys, it's Carson. When I was a kid and I would ride in a car, I would get so car sick and so nauseous, my parents would have to carry me into the house. Recently, I went on a sailboat in Mexico and I got so motion sick, I was sick all day. Then I found Relief Band. If you get nauseous, you absolutely must get Relief Band. Relief Band is the original anti-nausea wristband that quickly relieves and effectively prevents nausea and vomiting associated with motion sickness, anxiety, migraines, hangovers, morning sickness, chemotherapy, and much more. Relief Band is legitimately a band you wear on your wrist to give you relief from nausea, and you can change the intensity to make it stronger or weaker. It's 100% drug-free, non-drowsy, works quickly before or after symptoms start, and has 0 side effects. Relief Band has sold over 1 million devices and is backed by thousands of 4-star and above reviews, making it a trusted choice for fast-acting, natural nausea relief. Right now, we've got an exclusive offer just for Rob Carson Show listeners. If you go to reliefband.com, use promo code Carson, you'll receive 20% off plus free shipping. So head to reliefband.com, use promo code Carson for 20% off plus free shipping.
Sending troops to Memphis, Tennessee, 'cause it looks like Memphis could use some help from me. The mayor has done nothing to put criminals away. Memphis needs our help, and they need it there today. The city's run by Democrats who defunded police. They can't do their jobs or maintain the peace. I'm sending in the guard. Memphis needs it bad. Their mayor, Paul Young, that guy's really sad. Voted the most dangerous place in the USA. Wouldn't want to live there. Wouldn't want to stay. Sending in the guard. That call, it was mine. Democrats in Memphis, listen to them whine.
Tim Walz is a lefty who's ruined his state. Now he wants our children to self-mutilate. His policies are disgusting and lewd. And now he says schools have to include tampons in the boys' room. Tampons in the boys' room. Tim Walz and Kamala, a couple of fools. And everybody knows that liberals want to ruin schools. Tim allowed his cities to be burned by BLM. Criminals, illegals, they can count on Tim. His uniform, Tim was disgraced. He really crossed the line the moment that he placed tampons in the boys' room. Tampons in the boys' room. Tim Walz is a commie. Kamala is too, and everyone should know the damage that these two could do.
Would it take him pulling the trigger? Is that what would do it? And then you would say he needs to get out of the race? Abigail, you have nothing to say? Abigail. What if he said it about your 3 children? Is that when you would say he should get out of the race, Abigail? You're running to be governor.
Miss Earl Sears.
I mean, we're talking about murder. We're talking about someone's life being taken from them. Have you nothing to say about that? Are you not going to address it? really, you can't go any further.
That is a new ad from Winsome Myrtle Sears, who's running for governor in the state of Virginia. There was a disastrous debate by Abigail Spamberger last week, and it was a pretty epic performance. And even more so, her silence spoke volumes with the things that she won't address. Her radicalism, supporting Jay Jones, who fantasized about murdering a political opponent, putting 2 bullets in his head and killing his children. And he wants to be the AG, for God's sake. And then, of course, also Abigail believes, even though she has 3 daughters, letting men dress in the dress them. It is remarkable. It is remarkable what's being exposed, what was exposed by that debate. And then, of course, there's this lieutenant governor's race with the man, the legend, John Reid running, and his opponent will not have a debate because I'm afraid the same thing would happen to her. John Reid joins us on the Newsmax hotline. How you doing, sir?
Oh, yeah. Gazala Hashmi is not going to do a debate.
Nope.
You want to know why? Because she is a total radical, and she's proud of it. At least Abigail Spamberger is politically savvy enough to try to shut up and not reveal how crazy her positions are. But Gazala Hashmi, she describes herself as the leader of the progressive movement in Virginia, which is why she must be defeated. Every bad idea that Virginians hate, from that trans stuff to the high taxes to changing the word mother to birthing persons on official forms, she's the one pushing this stuff. And I'm not going to let it happen. I'm just not.
Yeah, she's actually worse than the other, the big offices running right now, bigger than the AG, bigger than the governor. She's a liberal Karen. She's like Karen on steroids, like super Karen. Yeah. Honestly, that's what's happening around the country. John, that's what's happening. Liberal Karens are running around the country, and they are the busybodies of the Democrat Party, and they bring their emasculated men in their lives to come along, and they're insane.
And they've demonstrated really bad judgment. Virginia has seen a lot of students with learning loss after COVID. Guess who kept the schools closed? It wasn't just the governor. It was Gazala Hashmi, my opponent, who's the chairperson of the Senate Education Committee. She thought it was fine. See, I think she thought it was fine because she wanted to placate the labor unions. It's never actually about the workers. It's never actually about the students. It's always about what the unions want. And I'm going to try to expose that. And then, it's interesting, Rob, I'm sure you all have been talking about the great success that President Trump has brought about with the release of the hostages overseas. Yeah. I mean, this man, along with the Secretary of State, doing great work. Gazala Hashmi has nothing to say about Donald Trump. She was the one who went and marched with Hamas in Richmond to try to promote that mindset. So I'm hoping that Virginians will wake up and say, we don't want that. We want people who care about Virginia, who are about peace and prosperity, not about the constant culture war and bringing conflicts from other parts of the world into our backyard. We should not tolerate that.
Well, your opponent for lieutenant governor is everything that was defeated in November. She's on the wrong side of history. We saw a rise of anti-Semitism in this country after October the 7th. The left in this country did their best to forget Israel's second Holocaust. It sounds like by attending that march, that's what your opponent is down with. That's just, that can't be in office. Not with the way the world is going toward good. This Virginia can't be left behind, sir.
She did more than just that. We have state universities, some of the best in the world, University of Virginia, William and Mary, great schools, and Jewish students, native Virginians who were Jews, were being bullied and harassed and in some cases physically abused on campus. She holds a hearing at the state capitol, and guess what? She forgets to invite the Jews and tries to turn it into a hearing about how the Muslim students feel uncomfortable. Yeah. Look, I'm going to treat everybody fairly. That is the way I've lived my life. I'm not going to pick winners and losers. I'm going to treat everybody fairly under the law. She's already demonstrated that she can't do that, and that's the reason I don't think she belongs at the Capitol, but she certainly should not get a promotion to lieutenant governor.
Well, this is why she's not doing the debate, because it'll expose everything that the country is leaving behind. And the Democrat Party, the radical left, they're toast. They just don't know it yet. They don't know it. But I'm telling you,
our guys wake up, You've seen it, Rob, over the years. You've been covering this for decades. People think, oh, we won the presidency, so we can lay back, and I'm tired this year. Believe me, I get it. I'm tired, too. But we have to vote in every election. I don't care whether it's dog catcher, school board, board of supervisors, especially if it's a statewide election, because the Democrats weasel their way into these smaller jobs, and then they rapidly work their way up. And if you don't catch them and expose them for the bad behavior early on, then you can't get them later. We need responsible, reasonable people who will treat everybody fairly. And I got to tell you, that's me, and I think that's Republicans in general all across the country.
Talking to John Reid, running for Lieutenant Governor in the state of Virginia. John Reid for Virginia.com. If you can help him out, please do so. New polling indicates the Virginia race for governor not only competitive, it is neck and neck. Winsome Earl Sears trails Spamberger by 2.6%, 47.7 to 45.1. Mayares has taken over Jay Jones, the radical who wanted to murder the Speaker of the House and his children, 49 to 43. That's pretty amazing. Earl Sears within Trafalgar's 2.9% margin of error, and it's getting closer as Election Day approaches, sir.
Yep, Winsome can win this. I think Jason is going to win it. Of course, Jay Jones has pretty much disqualified himself with that horrible behavior, and I'm glad Virginians are rejecting it. And I'm working hard from 4 o'clock in the morning. My alarm clock goes off at 4. I'm working hard all the way through the election. No days off, just like I haven't taken a day off since January 27th because I've got to save Virginia.
You do, and I used to live in Maryland. I chose Virginia. There's no way I was going to live in Maryland again. I lived there for a dozen years. It's insane. Maryland's growth has been stunted for years. I moved there in 2004 and noticed it then. It's gotten even worse. It's gotten even worse, and Virginia cannot take 2 steps back with this election. I want to talk to you after the break, if you can hold on, John Reid. The number of kids identifying as transgender appears to be going out of fashion. Isn't that weird? It was like it was almost a psyop or something. And of course, your opponent was completely down with it, and so's Spamberger, completely down with all of this nonsense. But now we're finding out it was all just a bunch of garbage. So, John Reid, can you hold on through the break, my friend?
I'm happy to do it. It's an important issue.
You betcha. We got John Reid for VA, John Reid, number 4, VA.com. If you want to help him out, please do. We will be back with John Reid on the Rob Carson Show. Don't go anywhere.
What do you make of Earl Sears's claim that you're fine with, quote, putting men in girls' locker rooms?
The reality is that the federal government has the ability to change the letter of the law, right? Through Congress, through the Senate, bills go to the president's desk. Right now, what we are seeing is there are differences between what is the law of the land under Title IX and what are executive orders put out by the White House.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And in circumstances where there are conflicting evidence or conflicting interpretation.
Oh, my God. You thought that Kamala Harris was with delivered word salads. Man, that one came with, that's an all-you-can-eat word salad with breadsticks there. Abigail Spanberger, just say that you're cool with men pretending to be women so they can go into women's locker rooms. My God. And what really makes it sick is you got 3 daughters. Honestly, it is ridiculous. That's Abigail Spanberger. She's running for governor in the state of Virginia. John Reid is running for lieutenant governor in the state of Virginia. The race is tightening up. She's still not answering the questions, is she, John?
She won't answer the question, and that's because she's scared. And I have to tell you how the Democrat Party has become beholden to such a small group of radical activists who are not in alignment with the values of the people of the United States. You know, most Americans have kind of reached a place, even if they're religious, and I have a great deal of respect for evangelical Christians and others who have concerns about gay issues, LGBTQ issues. That's fine. But they've pretty much gotten to a place where it's live and let live.
Yes.
But the trans community, they don't believe in live and let live. You must bow down to them. You must cater to them. Their discomfort is more important than the discomfort of my mother or my sister or my little niece. And I'm sorry, I reject that. That is not the way we're going to run this society.
Yeah.
We're going to base public policy on fact and truth, and not just your personal feelings if you're a radical leftist.
And none of this,
that's a winning message.
And this transgender nonsense came around on the heels of the great awakening that started in 2012, where all of a sudden, despite being grown up in a great American melting pot as a Gen Xer like you, and not even considering color as an option with regard to friends and coworkers and whatever, they decided to do a psyop. Identifying as transgender and queer appears to be going out of fashion among young people, especially in elite settings. This has just come out. And again, this all happened. We had COVID destroying the lives of kids. Kids very anxious and depressed, and the left taking advantage of this by saying, hey, maybe the problem is you were born in the wrong body. I mean, honestly, what the hell, John?
Yeah, it makes no sense, and that's why it's going out of fashion, because the average child who's going through the normal teenage angst that many of us remember, like, who am I? How do I feel about this? My body's changing. My mind is changing. That's normal, and it takes responsible adults to help guide children through that so that they can live a happy life. And I've got news for you. I'm surprised that it's breaking news. Cutting your breasts and testicles off is not normal. It is not going to put you in a better place when you hit 21 and suddenly the world doesn't seem like it's falling apart. If we allow young people to make these dramatic, horrible, physical decisions that can never be reversed, we're destroying their lives. And I think someone has to stand up and say, no, we will help you through this. But and once you're 18, you can do whatever you want. It's not up to me to tell you. But we're going to protect kids. And I think reasonable people believe that to be true.
Yeah, now also let's talk about the socioeconomic impacts of putting radical leftists in power in the state of Virginia. One of the things that I really hate about living in Virginia is this property tax on everything you own. You can own something forever. You can own a car outright for decades, and you still have to pay a massive amount of property tax on it. This extends into things like RVs. I was thinking about getting maybe a little travel trailer and all that. I'm like, no friggin' way. No way, man, because I got to pay the government to own it. Do you suppose that Winsome and you will usher in some smart policies with regard to taxation so Virginia doesn't become an outbound state like New York?
People hate the car tax.
Oh, bro.
I've said that for 20-plus years. Winsome is determined to be the person to offer the leadership to finally get rid of that. And I'll tell you, there's some people in Richmond who hate me because I've said the truth. We've got to sit in a closed room and kind of figure out the tax policies in Virginia. We have senior citizens who who've owned their house
Yep.
for decades,
Yep.
who are losing their homes because of the taxes.
Yeah.
That's wrong. We've got to stop it. And, you know, anything that threatens people's money, they freak out about and they get really angry. And I wear that with as a badge of honor. I am not interested in continuing policies that hurt the average Virginia taxpayer.
Man, I was watching 20 years ago. I was watching farms in Maryland being taken from generational farmers because they couldn't afford the property tax. The property tax was so incredibly oppressive, particularly in Montgomery County. I remember there was an old farm out there in Montgomery County, right along 270 near the Washingtonian. And I used to watch this old farmer out there, 2004, 2005. He had his old house there, and he'd have his tractor and all that. They ultimately took that away. He had to get rid of it. They bankrupted him. And this is happening in Virginia too, and it not only just
over and over.
It's ridiculous.
And we
ridiculous.
remember, when I was growing up, you remember Willie Nelson and Farm Aid. We were put on notice with that in the 80s and early 90s, but now it's happening to the average family with these soaring costs. Somebody's got to step up and fight for the working person, and that is to do just that. And I'll fight anybody, Republican or Democrat, to make sure we protect the working people in this state.
Well, we're in the home stretch on this, and obviously are really accelerating while the radicalness of the top three running for major state offices is being exposed. John Reid, tell everybody where you can help you out, because we need to get this going. I know you're going to be making countless appearances. You're putting a lot of sacrifice into this race, brother, and we want to push you over the finish line. How can we help you out, man?
I could sure use the financial help at johnreidforvirginia.com, REID, johnreidforvirginia.com. This Gazala Hashmi lady has had $5 million come in, a lot of it from way out of state, it's kind of hidden.
Yeah.
And I've got $270,000 in the bank right now.
All right.
I am up against a tidal wave, but I'm going to keep on fighting all the way to the end, I promise.
David versus Goliath. There you go, right there. Let's get her done. John, I appreciate you. We'll talk to you again next week. If you need anything, get in touch with us, okay?
Thank you. I really appreciate the time.
You bet. God bless, Godspeed. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show. All righty. What are we going to do next? We're going to talk about Israel, I think. I think we're going to do that. We're going to do that next. That's what we're going to talk about. All right. Hi, guys. How are you? Hello. Scarecrow is watching on Rumbly-Roo. Hello, Scarecrow. What is up? So much winning. Praise God. Our blessings start with living in such a great country and only increase from there. We got to keep it great. Got to make it great again. Who said that? See Facebook. Squall White is watching, having a good day. And Carolyn, Sam Ken Potter, you're new. Hi. What up? What up, Sam? Glad to have you there. Good Sam. Sam's a good name. Sam is a good name, man. I'm telling you. On the YouTube channel, on Newsmax YouTube, man, you guys are busy. America Marcy is watching there, and Merlin Wizard 1000, among others. Southern Belle. Hello, Southern Belle. How you doing, Southern Belle? G. Wood, Mickey Hastings. Thanks for watching. Hope you're enjoying the radio program and the live stream. I am quite animated, aren't I? I am quite animated. That's just the way I roll. We got some comedy coming up from Jim here too. I want to play some comedy from Jim. Oh yeah. D6.
Stay and relax with Hilton Garden in Orange Mills with easy check-in using their digital key.
I'm going to wrap up this hour
Whether it's a corporate event,
we'll have a little bit of time to talk about some stuff here. I'm listening to my feed from WCBM, our anchor station in lovely Balmer.
Your upcoming catering and events.
Which, by the way, their hopes for a Super Bowl are fading into the past quite quickly, unfortunately.
You can always count on the Hilton Garden.
Digging themselves into a hole that's kind of hard to get out of when you're this far down. It's a shame. It's a shame. Dig it. This is not an EV. And it never will be. Electric golf cart in a little cul-de-sac neighborhood, hanging out with my homies, riding around in the golf cart. I'll be the DD. I'll be the designated driver in the community. driving around in my golf cart. I'm going to get one of those monster golf carts that look kind of kick butt. They got some that look like a Hummer. It's kind of cool. Here's a little montage of insane Karens who fell for the transgender nonsense.
We're going to use fascist talking points. Be ready to be called a fascist.
You are the Fourth Reich, and we are the resistance. And one more time, when my trans family is under attack, I'm going to stand up, fight back. Get ready.
This blatantly ignores science.
I'm queer, I'm the mom of a trans kid, and I'm an elementary school teacher. I would like to point out that by eliminating a minor's preferred pronouns is racist and Christian-centric.
Using pronouns is proven to save lives.
Crazy, cul-de-sac dwelling, Karens, liberal Karens, and the emasculated men in their lives. I discovered this phenomenon in the mid-'90s in Minneapolis. Crazy Karens. Insane, crazy Karens who bought into this transgender nonsense and allowed children to be mutilated and destroyed. Well, it looks like the identifying as transgender and queer appears to be going out of fashion. Analyzing raw data from the recent FIRE survey, 60,000 students, found that 3.6% of respondents identified as gender other than male and female. That compares with 5.2 in 2024 and 6.8 in 2022 and 23. It's like they took advantage of a crisis to destroy children's lives and drive them insane. In other words, the share of trans-identified students has effectively halved in 2 years. Halved in 2 years. They pushed this mania on our children, and Karen bought into it hook, line, and sinker. Karen, oh my God, Karen. When trans and queer trends were at their peak, freshmen were more likely to be non-confirming in their gender and sexuality than seniors. Now that BTQ, bisexual, trans, queer questioning identify is in a decline, the reverse is true. Karen, you shouldn't have ever had children. Look what you did. Look what you did. And then, of course, you childless Karens like Randy Weinbaum in charge of the teachers union there. Look what you did. Is improved mental health part of it? Yeah, less anxious, especially depressed student is linked to be a smaller share identifying as trans, queer, or bisexual. Not entirely. Mental illness fell after the pandemic, but the sexuality and gender shifts happened at least a year after. All groups, including LGBTQIA+, got less mentally ill after the pandemic because they used it to their advantage to destroy our children. And Karen, you're getting your comeuppance in every way, shape, or form. Karen, back into hell to you. Back into the cul-de-sac with you. Go back to be the HOA chairman and all of that. Let's take a break and come back. Hour number 3 of the Rob Carson is right ahead. Don't go anywhere.
No blind rhetoric.
No talking down to me.
Don't tell me how to think.
Don't tell me how to think. Don't tell me how to think.
I trust Newsmax. Newsmax.
They don't tell me how to think. They let me decide.
Real news for real people.
Hold it now.
You are about to hear the most interesting, informative, thought-provoking, and funny show in America. On air and on the World Wide Web. This is the Rob Carson Show.
This is a Rob Carson Show. There you go. Hello. This is the Rob Carson Show, hour number 3. Hour number 3 on the show today, and we got a lot of stuff to cover before the end of the radio program. Thus far, it's been a pretty darn good show. Eric Schmidt, the senator from Missouri, the first hour. John Reid running for lieutenant governor of Virginia. Second hour, lots of commentary, comedy, all sorts of stuff. And, of course, we are on radio stations around the country. Thanks to the great Newsmax Incorporated, also Chris Ruddy, who gave me this opportunity, which I am eternally grateful for. Eternally grateful for on, very, like I said, radio stations, and also streaming on all Newsmax social media, which has been growing pretty dramatically on Rumble and on YouTube and on X and on Instagram and on Facebook. It's crazy. It's crazy. So I enjoy doing it. I got a picture of Donald Trump up there on the screen. Yeah, there's a reason why. I'll play that in 1 second. Well, I got a picture of Donald Trump up there. Israel's fury grows as Hamas holds on to 20 dead hostages. Raging Donald Trump orders them to disarm, or he will. Fury is spreading across Gaza as Hamas clings on to 20 dead hostages despite the U.S. president threatening to violently disarm them. The terror group handed over 4 bodies Tuesday. Relatives of hostages will still in its clutches took to the streets in Tel Aviv to call for the return of their loved ones. Came just hours after the first hostages handed back on Monday as part of the Gaza ceasefire deal. This is Hamas. Can you imagine being the parent of a loved one or the spouse of someone who was murdered by these savages, and they won't even give you the body, the closure of it? It's just so ridiculous. This is why I hope that Hamas Fafos screws around and finds out, because Donald Trump is only looking for an excuse, and this is the one thing. I mean, I said the only way we're going to be able to end this in the Middle East is get rid of Hamas and drive the Ayatollah out of power too. By the way, here is Donald Trump yesterday.
Well, they're going to disarm, and because they said they were going to disarm, and if they don't disarm, we will disarm them.
Yep.
How will you do that?
I don't have to explain that to you.
Yeah, it's called kaboom.
But if they don't disarm, we will disarm them. They know I'm not playing games.
Yep.
Okay? Now, we did something monumental. We got the hostages back. That was the first thing we had to do, above all else.
Took the Trump card off the table there.
Get the hostages back. Now, they misrepresented because we were told they had 26, 24 of dead hostages, if we can use those terms. And it seems as though they don't have that because we're talking about a much lesser number. But that's a very tough subject. I want them back. That's what they said. I want them back. Also, they said they were going to disarm. And initially speaking, they needed, they did take out a couple of gangs that were very bad, very, very bad gangs, and they did take them out, and they killed a number of gang members. And that didn't bother me much, to be honest with you. That's okay. We had a couple of very bad gangs. It's no different than other countries. Like Venezuela sent their gangs into us, and we took care of those gangs. We have Washington, D.C., is one of the safest cities in the country. It was one of the worst cities in the country if you go back just a little while ago, right? Now it's safe. You can walk to work. Isn't it nice? But we have told them we want to disarm, and they will disarm.
Disarm or you go boom, boom. That's the way it is, man. That's the way it is. That's the way it is. Department of Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem says the Mexican drug cartels are placing bounties on the heads of Immigration and Customs Enforcement ICE agents. It's kind of weird because the Democrat Party and people like J.B. Pritzker are down with it, man. They are on the same side. Antifa is helping the cartels in Chicago and Portland, Oregon, by providing logistical support like pre-staged protest gear exposing the identities of ICE agents. That's why they want the masks off. I kind of wondered, they were talking about how, a lot of the money coming from these cartels might have ended up in politicians' pockets. Here is Rob Schmidt from Newsmax. He does a great show every night on Newsmax talking about this.
Homeland Security revealing just how dangerous the job of immigration enforcement has become in this country, and it's getting worse every day. Revealing that Mexican cartels are now seeking hitmen inside the United States to take
and the Democrat Party is on their side.
Out ICE and Border Patrol agents. Quote, Mexican criminals in coordination with domestic extremist groups inside the U.S. have placed targeted bounties on ICE and CBP agents. These criminal networks have issued explicit instructions to U.S.-based sympathetics, they call them, including street gangs in Chicago, to monitor, harass, and assassinate federal agents.
Yeah, and J.B. Pritzker is on their side. There is no doubt whatsoever he is on their side. He's fomenting rage and violence against them. That's why I hope the Insurrection Act is used and J.B. Pritzker is arrested. You know why? Because nobody will care.
These are hit jobs. They use the term U.S.-based sympathetics, right? The cartels are looking for people inside the country sympathetic to their cause.
Yeah, and they've got them, the Democrat Party.
And that is a rapidly expanding demographic here in the U.S.
It is.
As globalist politicians and the media work together to vilify basic border control, which we've seen now for months.
Yeah.
Great example of that, Illinois' governor right here threatening
Listen.
thousands of immigration officers in this country with prosecution once Democrats take back power.
The tables will turn someday. These people should recognize that maybe they're not going to get prosecuted today, although we're looking at doing that, but they may get prosecuted after the Trump administration for the things that they did because the statute of limitations won't have run.
Unbelievable. This guy, he thinks he's going to be the president someday, and the only way, the only possible gasp of a possibility of a campaign is to be anti-Trump. But he's never going to be the president because he's an unlikable toad. He's an unlikable, despicable toad. He will never be the president. J.B. Pritzker will never be popular enough to be the president of the United States. That's just it, J.B. So you might as well give up. You might as well give up. You know what? And also, here's some people of color in Chicago. They're cool with Donald Trump sending the guard in.
Reaction was that this is a good thing. I think that the governor as well as the mayor should be on board with it just so we can get a bit more of security in Chicago the way that we need.
Yeah, but you see they're standing in the schoolhouse doors because they want to keep you uneducated in poor schools, poor and filled with grievance. That's what Democrats do to people of color. They've been doing it for centuries. That's what they do. But Donald Trump's going after a lot of these Mexican nationals coming in here who are supporting the cartels. By the way, Mexico's government is owned by the cartels, but that's coming to an end.
Trump administration has revoked the visas of at least 50 politicians and government officials in Mexico as part of its crackdown against drug cartels and their suspected political allies. According to Reuters, the politicians and officials are members of the country's ruling Morena party, headed by Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum, along with dozens
who's a nice Jewish girl
from other parties. Their names haven't been publicly confirmed, but at least 4 officials have acknowledged losing visas. A State Department official did not confirm the report, but said that visas can be revoked for a variety.
Yeah, Mexico, you know what? You're a little sucker fish on the belly of the shark here, and honestly, Mexico, you better get your crap together because you depend on us for everything, and you better get it together. And you know this is happening. This stuff's going to end. Mexico's going to have to get its stuff together. They have been very abusive to the United States, opening the border, allowing the narco-terrorists to come in and flood our country with fentanyl. And Mexico, you are treading on thin ice, people. You are treading on thin ice. Here is Pam Bondi talking about J.B. Pritzker and the cities of Memphis and then comparing it to what Donald Trump has done in Washington, D.C.
Yeah, he is apoplectic that Donald Trump wants to come in and help Chicago and fix Chicago and make Chicago safe. You know how many
I'm thinking he's getting his palms greased. And I think his palms are greasy anyway.
Seen children we found in Memphis, 44. Finding
44 missing kids found in Memphis already.
Missing child makes it all worthwhile. A missing child is a missing child who's been taken away from their parents.
Yeah, Democrats didn't give a crap about 300,000 children trafficked over the southern border for sex and work.
Abducted children who are on their own, all under the age of 18. Teenagers and younger,
Yeah.
44 missing children. Some have been taken by non-custodial parent. Take that to Chicago. They had 571 homicides last year. Pritzker should be begging Donald Trump to come in. And, and what you said about Memphis, we have Mayor Paul Young working with us. He's amazing. He's a Democrat. He wants to make Memphis safe. Right here in D.C., Sean, look how safe D.C. is now because of Muriel Bowser working with Donald Trump. Metro Police, Transit Authority Police, right here, working with all of our federal...
Oh, it is just clean and glorious in Washington, D.C. You go to Union Station, you can almost eat off the ground. It's absolutely amazing. Jim Gossett put this together about J.B. Pritzker on the Rob Carson Show.
He's got a wave 300. J.B. Pritzker's huge.
That's fat shaming.
When he camps, the bears hide their food. It's hard to say what he weighs.
Should be ashamed.
JB steps on the scale. The readout says 1 at a time. Every day. He's letting crime run rapid. Chicago's a war zone. But he doesn't want the guard to stay there. Might even weigh 330.
Maybe 350.
JB is a blimp. His furniture is extra sturdy, so it won't break.
Nice. Falsetto for you there. That is Jim Gossett. If you want to help him out, go to Jim Gossett Comedy. Actually, at patreon.com, Jim Gossett Comedy. Awesome. Let's take a break and come back, shall we? This is the Rob Carson Show. And it's a Rob Carson show. I was just looking on the news, because I try to keep up with what's happening in the news as the show progresses. Despite being easily distracted, and there's some unrest happening in St. Petersburg. People gathering to protest Vladimir Putin, I should say. We'll see. Obviously, the Ukraine war is wearing a little bit thin, and maybe the people in Russia are kind of getting tired of it too. Hopefully, we will see. We will see. I want to mention something. I always every day, and even today, I'm getting spammed as some sort of company says that I owe them money for whatever, and my card is expired. I get that on my email all the time, and I'm like, I don't use your product. But a lot of times you skip over that stuff. And you just oh my God, I'm late on something. Well, I'll go ahead and respond, and give them whatever the information they need. That's called phishing. Okay, that's what they do. phishing. They try to get your credit card information and steal it from you, and they do. And a lot of times they actually get away with it. Also, you download malware, I should say, screws up your computer. And it is hard to discern it. I mean, listen, I convert YouTube videos to what's called an MP4 file for my TV show. And 80% of the sites that have YouTube video converters are filled with this malware, which will wreck your computer. It'll give them all the information on your hard drive, and it'll wreck your computer. Well, I've got a service that will stop that for you. Okay, it's called WebRoot. Go to webroot.com/Carson, and you're going to get 60% off for a limited time for real-time antivirus protection against emerging threats like malware, ransomware, phishing, scams, etc. Firework and network detector, the Web Threat Shield detects and blocks malicious sites before you can visit them, which is really good because you never know. They always have something to sell. Maybe it's something you need, and then you go to the site thinking it's actually, whatever, and it attacks you. System optimizer to delete traces of online activity, all of that. Advanced dark web monitoring, among other things, crediting and financial monitoring with rapid alerts, all of that. And it's dirt cheap. It's dirt cheap. So just go to WebRoot Total Protection at webroot.com/Carson, webroot.com/Carson. Get 60% off for a limited time. 60% off for a limited time. And when you see the price, you're going to go, oh my God, I can't believe it. You're going to just pinch yourself and you go, oh my God, I can't even believe it. It's crazy. Crazy. So there is that. Anyway, check it out. This is kind of, we're talking about Karens, and Karens have been steamrolling the country for decades now. They are liberal women, and Malcolm X, he warned everybody against these in the 60s, said that the liberal Democrat is the most dangerous human being when it comes to people of color, among other things. But Karen has done everything. She's been running roughshod over the country. She's a busybody. She's Elizabeth Warren. Okay, if you want the perfect Karen, Elizabeth Warren is the Karen, annoying, liberal woman, busybody, thinks she knows better than you about everything. She got rid of the Land O'Lakes Indian. She got rid of the Redskins. She got rid of Uncle Ben and Aunt Jemima, even though the people like the family of Aunt Jemima, they loved Aunt Jemima. Being Aunt Jemima made their community famous. But this is Karen. Karen defunded the police, even though black people are like, no, don't defund the police. We kind of like having the police around here. No, I've got it because I'm Karen. That's Karen. That's Karen, guys. And Karen, she's getting her comeuppance. I think people are done with busybody Karen. The original Karen was Gladys Kravitz on the TV show Bewitched. I used to watch that in syndication as a kid after school. But Gladys Kravitz, at least Gladys Kravitz had something to, really be concerned about. She'd like peek in the window at the Stevens house, and all of a sudden Darren would grow donkey ears. I mean, what the hell's going on there? And then she'd tell everybody about it, and everybody'd say she's crazy. Or all of a sudden, Dr. Bombay will just suddenly appear in the living room. Like, what the hell? You were climbing Mount Everest just a minute ago, and now you're in the middle of the living room. At least Gladys Kravitz had something, You'd have to watch Bewitched to understand those. I haven't watched that show in a long time, like since I was a kid. Unhinged radical teacher in Scottsdale, Arizona, reportedly labeled a third grader an extremist and had neighbors spy on him. I'm not kidding. Listen to this kid testify in front of the school board.
I was a third grader at Anasazi, but in a different class than Mrs. Javanette. This teacher created a hostile school environment for kids like me when she didn't like the parents.
Now, Donna Javanette, third grade teacher at Anasazi Elementary School, went after this kid. Listen.
She would yell at me in the hallway and hurry me along. I also caught her filming me one day. She claimed she was filming field day, but the event was over, and her phone was pointing right at me.
Yeah, there was a field day, and Miss Donna Javanette was pointing the camera at him, surveilling him.
At the same time, a neighbor on my street was also filming me while I was outside my home. It was creepy, and I felt unsafe. It became so bad that my family had to get a restraining order against my neighbor. At court is when the neighbor revealed a personal email from Mrs. Javanette to my neighbor, thanking my neighbor for protecting teachers against extremists. This is when I found out that Mrs. Javanette and my neighbor were working together. Now Mrs. Javanette had been caught celebrating gun violence and a local hero, Charlie Kirk, being assassinated.
Yeah, she is. She celebrated Charlie Kirk's assassination. Donna Javanette.
With a post on social media.
Wow.
How do you allow her to teach third graders? How do parents leave their kids in her class? She's the reason why we and others left Anasazi. Now I hear more are leaving after her recent hateful posts.
Wow.
Thank you.
Wow, I mean, who the hell? This is how bat guano crazy the left has been. Donna Javanette working with a neighbor to surveil this kid. And then celebrating Charlie Kirk's murder. This is the poison of the left. Honestly, this is the point. I just wrote a Substack piece today about rebuilding the House divided because, yesterday Scott Adams talked about how he gave up everything to support Donald Trump, and now we know that we were right. We were right. Our families left us. Our friends left us. Today, my divorce becomes final. Yeah, I know. It's a tough day. But anyway, this is the kind of insanity. And you cannot live like this. You cannot live like crazy third-grade teachers surveilling a kid because he doesn't like mom and dad and doesn't like the kid's political views and then celebrates Charlie Kirk's murder. You want that person teaching your kid? My God, are you out of your mind? All right, so coming up, we're going to talk about gold and silver with Carrie Lutz, podcaster, author, Awakening Sovereignty, one mind at a time. I think you're going to find the conversation fascinating. That's on the way. This is The Rob Carson Show. Hey guys, it's Carson. You know, when I was a kid and I would ride in a car, I would get so car sick and so nauseous, my parents would have to carry me into the house. Recently, I went on a sailboat in Mexico and I got so motion sick, I was sick all day. Then I found Relief Band. If you get nauseous, you absolutely must get Relief Band. Relief Band is the original anti-nausea wristband that quickly relieves and effectively prevents nausea and vomiting associated with motion sickness, anxiety, migraines, hangovers, morning sickness, chemotherapy, and much more. Relief Band is legitimately a band you wear on your wrist to give you relief from nausea, and you can change the intensity to make it stronger or weaker. It's 100% drug-free, non-drowsy, works quickly before or after symptoms start, and has 0 side effects. Relief Band has sold over 1 million devices and is backed by thousands of 4-star and above reviews, making it a trusted choice for fast-acting, natural nausea relief. Right now, we've got an exclusive offer just for Rob Carson Show listeners. If you go to reliefband.com, use promo code Carson, you'll receive 20% off plus free shipping. So head to reliefband.com, use promo code Carson for 20% off plus free shipping. it's a Rob Carson show on a Wednesday, and man, there's been some crazy stuff happening this year regarding the price of precious metals. And you've heard me talking about it, and now we know that gold cracked $4,100 an ounce, which is like, are you kidding me? I mean, honestly, I remember I talked to financial advisor a few years ago, and he said that gold and silver were like the Snuggie of investments. Not so much anymore when you consider that gold's gone up like 45% this year. It is crazy. And then silver at $53 an ounce. Silver at $53. Are you kidding me? Silver. Oh my God. We invited Carrie Lutz. He's an attorney, podcaster, author of Awakening Sovereignty One Mind at a Time. And I was just reading this great piece in Substack that he wrote about $53 silver and the crack in the financial cosmos. And he joins us. How you doing there, Carrie?
I'm doing good. By the way, I'm a recovering attorney.
You're a recovering attorney. Well, I was a recovering Catholic, but now I'm back in good stead. Thank you very much.
Yeah, well, recovery is tricky, you know?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. What's the deal, man? What is the deal with? I mean, gold at 4,100, dude. Carrie, last week I have Birch Gold as a sponsor on my show, and you know we've had them on for a couple of years. I can literally look at the price of gold, and in the 60 seconds it takes for me to do the commercial, the price has gone up $1 an ounce. It's nuts.
Crazy.
It's nuts.
Yeah, I could tell you, like 2 months ago, I said I know that silver is going to blast off. I want to prove to my my audience, all my subscribers, my community, that I can still buy it under melt value. So in other words, if 90% silver, those are pre-1965 quarters, dimes, nickels, half dollars. At the time, the face value of silver was about $25. So if you had $1 of the pre-1965, it would be worth $25. But it was going up so quick. I could go on eBay and I could bid for silver on a Friday when I knew it went up $2-3 an ounce over the past few days, but people had posted their listings, and I wound up buying it for 5 to 10% below melt value, which means basically the stuff was on sale. That same $25, $1 face value is now $38.
Unbelievable.
That means in literally 2 or 3 months, I made 50% on my money.
Yeah.
But the other way to look at it is my dollars became worth 50% less in terms of purchasing power for precious metals, right?
Yeah. Well, you know, excuse me. I remember when we first started talking with Birch Gold. I think gold was $2,000, less than $2,000. And I mean, listen, could you imagine gold being $4,100 like right now? Didn't that come kind of as a surprise? Did it come as a surprise to you, Carrie?
No.
And then I want to know what's driving this. I got to know what's driving all of this.
Well, it's there's a lot of things driving it. The inability to control government spending. It's not just the inability. There's no desire to do it. If they wanted to do it, they could. And this is globally. It's the geopolitical situation that forces people to look for safety. You know, it's the panic buy. And what you can look at it is the canary in a coal mine.
Yeah.
You know, like Birch is a great company. I know them well, worked with them myself. And, you know, it looks like they're making a lot of money now, and they are, for sure.
Yeah.
But the cost of their product is going up.
I know.
So they can only make a margin. And really, it's the global situation.
Yeah.
Debt is out of control. There's nobody talking about bringing it down to earth.
Yeah.
You know, nobody's saying for the first time in my life, they're actually looking at cutting programs, but I'll believe it when I see it.
Exactly.
All those factors. So
I'm seeing people Carrie, I'm seeing people prospecting. I read a piece in the Wall Street Journal. People prospecting.
Yeah, that's like kind of funny. You could watch that show, Gold Rush.
Yeah, I have actually.
Like these people get gold fever.
Yeah.
And then they just like they say goodbye to their families, their wives, and they're off in the Klondike.
Wow.
Looking for gold. It's kind of addictive.
Yeah.
But the system is not as good as they want you to believe.
Yeah.
And this is a loss of faith in not just the dollar, the global economic system.
Yeah, and I hear central banks are buying the hell out of gold right now, which is going to drive it up even further, right, and make it more scarce, right?
Yep.
Unbelievable.
Oh, yeah. Well, they've been doing that for a couple of years now. The rest of the world just caught up with them.
Yeah. Do you think that we have the gold that they promised in Fort Knox?
Well, I kind of doubt it.
Yeah.
Again, we might have more.
Yeah.
We might have more than they said. There's two arguments: the black swan and the white swan.
Yeah.
Black swan says they sold it off 30, 40 years ago in the middle of the night. The white swan says we got way more than what we said, but we never want to admit it because we don't want to do anything that will make people suspect the value of the paper dollar.
Where do you see gold going, man? I mean, right now, dude, if you got $10,000 investment, you're going to get 2.5 ounces of gold. It's like what? Not even 2.5, for God's sake.
Mm-hmm.
Unbelievable.
It's going to 10,000. First 5,000. That'll be relatively quick.
Wow.
Next 3 to 4 months. Then it's going to 10.
Wow.
Which will happen like really quick.
Wow.
And then we got some kind of crisis. On the horizon.
Yeah.
Whether it's a loss of faith in all fiat currencies, because the interesting thing, and here's the tell.
Yeah.
The tell is that the dollar's been relatively stable.
Mm-hmm.
Once all the tariff stuff is kind of passed, the dollar's been holding around 98, 99.
Good.
While gold is going up, and the stock market's going up. So it's a loss of faith in the system.
Yeah. Well, what the hell have these global governments done to inspire any faith? Right? I mean, honestly, what is our government? We increased spending by 60% on COVID. And then they looted the treasury to load themselves up and make themselves rich with their NGOs and whatnot. And then they printed money and they printed money and they printed money. What the hell?
Yep.
Oh.
Yep. That's why Bitcoin is at, it's down a little bit now. It's around 110,000, but it was at 125,000 last week. So there was a crash. You got to understand, like a lot of these markets are engineered. I don't want to say manipulated or controlled, but if you got your tinfoil hat handy, you could say manipulated and controlled. And what you're seeing here is a loss of control over these markets.
Yeah.
And I in my column, I write a joke about like the computer that rigs all the markets in COMEX is called COMEX GPT.
Mm-hmm.
And COMEX GPT has been twitching. It's been having server issues because it can't control the markets the way it did for the past 60 years. It's a little bit of a satire here.
Gotcha. A little inside investor humor there. Not exactly something I'd want to do on stage. I'm not sure you'd get a good reaction with it. But can you hold on, Carrie? Can you hold on, Carrie? I want a couple more points I want to make at the other side of the break. It's fascinating stuff. Carrie Lutz, attorney, podcaster, author of this Awakening Sovereignty, One Mind at a Time. Let's take a break and come back. This is The Rob Carson Show. We'll keep
FM and 99.9 FM in Hartford County.
I've been careful about that. A little metal for you. It's a workout day for me. I'll be hitting the gym today, tearing it up. Kerry Lutz is an attorney, podcaster, author who got a book called Awakening Sovereignty One Mind at a Time. I brought him on because I'm wondering about what's going on with gold, $4,100 an ounce. It's really ridiculous. And Dave Ramsey's the guy who said that. Oh yeah, gold is like the Snuggie of investments, and it was, right? Wasn't it, Kerry?
Yeah, well, look at it this way. Like, gold is wealth protection.
Yeah.
But it's a market. It varies, just like other markets.
Yeah.
But over time, for the past 5,000 years, when times are tough, this is what people go to.
Yeah.
We had this digital gold revolution called Bitcoin.
Oh, yes.
And that kind of distracted a lot of money from the sector. So it had, and then, everything looked okay. People really weren't focusing on what was happening with the global monetary system.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden, there's been a wake-up call.
Yeah. So what do you think? Let me ask you this. What would you do? Would you buy right now? Because I think we're getting real close to the average person not being able to afford gold at all.
Yeah, well, the gold is the money of kings and silver is the money of the people. Yeah. So silver is still buyable. Mm-hmm. And, I just bought some 2 days ago.
Did you?
Not a lot, but just because I know, just like what I was telling you, buying from eBay back in July, I'm up 50%.
Wow.
And actually I'm up higher because I bought those coins below what the melt value was then. Mm-hmm. And, what I like is what a lot of other people don't like, 40% silver coins. Those are Kennedy half dollars that were minted between 1965 and 1969, I believe. Plus, they did a limited edition in 1976 for the bicentennial.
Yeah.
There's also bicentennial quarters.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
30%.
Yeah.
And Eisenhower dollars.
I got some of those.
I think. Yeah, Eisenhower dollars. They got 40% in, I think, 70s, early 70s, 76. Yeah. I don't remember the exact date. Don't quote me on that.
Yeah.
But
it's
you
fascinating.
can still buy them with a small premium because they're considered the junk of the junk.
Yeah.
But you know what? When silver gets scarce, and that's the other thing.
Yeah.
Silver is required for everything in our lives.
It is, yeah.
From cruise missiles to Teslas.
Yeah.
You got to have silver.
You do.
If you don't have silver, you got nothing. And because of the environmental insanity that's taken place in the West, up until the past year, it would take you 20 years to build a copper mine.
Yeah.
And nobody was building, very few people building pure silver mines.
Let me ask you this.
A couple of companies.
Kerry, before we go, Trump's obviously pushing crypto. I respect the president for all things financial. I think he knows what the hell he's doing. He's doing a great job, by the way. What do you think? What do you think about crypto? And which one? Because you can't afford Bitcoin. Who the hell can afford a Bitcoin? Well, what the hell? What about crypto?
Afford Bitcoin, but like Bitcoin's at $110,000.
Yeah.
So you're going to buy a tenth of a Bitcoin or a 50th of a Bitcoin. Doesn't matter. It's divisible.
Yeah.
I don't really like the altcoin market that much because I call them kleptocurrencies. A lot of them shouldn't exist.
Yeah.
They're just there to take money from you.
Gotcha.
So stick with Bitcoin.
Yeah.
It's going higher. So you got these supply squeezes. We call them short squeezes.
Yeah.
And that they've been the very same mechanism they've been using to control the prices of silver and also Bitcoin, synthetic markets.
Okay.
They're markets, derivatives that are based upon the value of the underlying commodity, but don't give you possession of it.
All right.
And that is what's collapsing right now.
Really?
I don't want to get into all the technical.
Yeah, we don't have time to get all that. I like to keep it simple, stupid. That's the way it is with this show.
I'm trying.
No, Carrie, this has been a fascinating conversation. I normally I'm not into talking about investments and having investment experts on and all that crap, But this has been fascinating because I'm like, I can't believe it. And $4,100 for gold and $53 for silver is just crazy, crazy, crazy. Carrie, I appreciate you, man. Where can people find your Substack and everything?
Sure. FinancialSurvivalNetwork.com. Got a book called The World According to Martin Armstrong, and it's conversations with the master forecaster, a guy who called 1987 the crash to the day, and numerous other crashes since then. It's on Amazon and wherever fine books used to be sold.
All right, brother. Thanks for the phone call, or for the appearance, I should say. I appreciate you.
Pleasure.
Right, there you go.
Too.
You bet. I had no idea this friggin' coin that I got from Birch Gold would be worth like $3 more than it was last week. That's pretty cool, right? Just real quick, Birch Gold has got these really cool patriotic silver rounds. They are 1 troy ounce. Thank you. And thank you, Troy. I appreciate you. It has the Gaza and American flags on there. And it's gone up in value. And gold has gone up 45% this year. And now it's $4,100 an ounce. Birch Gold, I'm telling you, just do it. Just text my name, Rob, to 989898. Do it today. Rob to 989898. Get on it. I know they're busy, but you can get information and all that and get the ball rolling. And you better do it before it's too expensive, before you can, it'll be bit gold. They'll call it bit gold. You'll just be able to buy a bit of it. Buy it before you can not afford an ounce. It's getting crazy. Text my name, Rob, to 989898 for Birch Gold. Coming up, we'll talk about Alec Baldwin crashing into a tree. He only killed a tree this time. That's on the way. This is the Rob Carson Show. Back in a few. Buy gold and get free silver. That's right. For every $5,000 purchase from Birch Gold. Claim your eligibility for free silver with qualifying purchase before the end of the month. Again, text my name.
Housing shortage in the country.
You want the DIVORC?
Sure.
Donald Trump to get the economy in a better spot and interest rates go down. That's going to make a home more affordable. This is what we've sadly taken as a new normal. It doesn't have to be this way.
John Hannity, weekdays 3 to 6 on Talk Radio 680 WCVM. Hear the news, then talk about it at the top and bottom of every hour throughout the day. Breaking news, stimulating talk. Only on Talk Radio 680 WCVM and 99.9 FM in Harford County.
Yeah, this is my life. It is. I'm only playing this because you know me. Divorce sucks more than I could have ever imagined. It really, really does. It's always been kind of a punchline when you've never been divorced. It's always just kind of a punchline. But man, it's terrible. And the thing is, especially when you've been married a long time, you know somebody more than you could ever know. But no more my soon-to-be ex-wife longer than I've known her more than half of my life. And I don't want to invest that in another person. I'm not interested in investing that in another person, honestly. It's just tough. So I could use a prayer. Last night, for the first time, I was lonely. I'm sorry. I would appreciate it. I really would. I'd appreciate it. Listen, there are a lot of worse things out there in the world. I could be Charlie Kirk, for God's sake. Alec Baldwin appears to be lying about running into a tree.
I just want to post a quick message. I got all this inquiries about my car thing this morning. I was in a car accident this morning. I'm fine. My brother Stephen was out visiting me on Long Island, and we spent the weekend out there for the film festival. I do want to take an opportunity to congratulate everybody on the staff of the film festival, David Nugent, and, and everyone,
okay.
Casey.
Your agent,
everyone. I can't think of all the names. Our board, our sponsors,
blah, blah. Yeah, what else?
Stuart Suna, my co-chair on the board.
Who cares, honestly? He's blaming the garbage truck driver. And it wasn't the garbage truck driver's fault. And this is just like Alec Baldwin to blame somebody else, but at least only a tree died this time. This is from Jim Gossett in honor of Alec Baldwin, one of the most unlikable people you'll ever meet.
Alec Baldwin crashed his ride.
Or who you'll ever run into, I should say.
When questioned, Alec Baldwin flat out lied. He blamed it on a garbage truck, but offered zero proof. Betcha he got road rage, and then he hit the roof. Alec hit the roof. He drove a Range Rover straight into a tree with his brother Steve in an SUV. If I see Alec Baldwin in an SUV.
That is from the great Jim Gossett. The great Jim Gossett. Absolutely awesome as usual. Have a glorious day, guys. God bless you. Thanks for being there for me. I'm always here for you. And I will see you tomorrow. In the meantime, do not catch the stupid. I'll see you later.
Information. Truth is freedom. Is Newsmax. It's real news